So that was a great start to the show, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this the format that we're going to follow is we're going to play they're going to play a song, and then I'm going to ask him a few questions, and then after that even we'll give the audience an opportunity to ask some questions as well. Yeah. So yeah. So I can see that this was a great performance, and I can see that you're an instrumental artist, and all of your tracks are instrumental. Is that correct?
Yeah, they are. So thank you for noticing that. Just kidding. First of all, thank you everyone for coming and listening to my music. This is the music that I've been making for the past 4 years, and I consider this a very, very great opportunity for me to perform these songs live. Like, it's not every day that I get to do this. I'm very, very thankful for all of you, and especially the guys on stage. So I'll just start off with introducing Rohit Lalwani on bass. Please give it up for him. And we have Kunal Rohit on drums. And we have Ranjit, who's been a friend of mine for a long time. We were also in a band together, and yeah, it's really because of all of these guys and everyone who has been helping me that this event is possible. And I encourage you all to ask as many questions as you can, or also as many questions as time allows, because we are in a severe time crunch. But hopefully we get to perform all the songs, and we also get to answer all of your questions. And now we will move on to some specific questions that Ranjit has for me.
Yeah, so yeah, you are an instrumental artist, as I mentioned. I think hearing instrumental bands is quite a rare thing for maybe audiences in Pune to hear, right? And you're from Pune originally. So how did how did you come up to start this project, and how did you get inspired to start, say, an instrumental band?
Sure. I think audiences in Pune do listen to a lot of instrumental music. It's just not in this format. I think people in Pune are very, very interested in Indian classical music. That's how I grew up. Like, that's mainly because of my parents, because they are such big fans of Indian classical music, and most of it, if not all of it, happens to be instrumental. So the way I started this kind of music was just growing up in Pune. I was big time into like heavy metal. I think I picked up guitar around 8th grade, so that's when I started sort of listening to a lot of guitar-based music in general. And through that, I was exposed to a variety of music, and it so happened that my ear caught on to rock music first, then moved on to heavy metal, then moved on to post-rock, then moved on to progressive rock, and this is where I am now. So this is, if we were to put this music that I make in a genre, it's called progressive rock music, but it takes elements from every single music that I personally listen to. So a lot of my musical influences have sort of seeped their way into me writing all of these songs. I personally don't have anything against including vocals in my music, but it's just another step that I'm not willing to take just yet. Working with vocalists is something that if I do end up doing in the future, I want to do it right. I want to work with someone who is on the same sort of approach as I am, and not to say that I haven't found it yet, but it's just that I'm not seeking that out yet. I'm just very content in making this kind of instrumental music. I also had a band while I was in Pune throughout engineering. So that band was called Cat Kamikaze, which Ranjit was a part of, and we wrote an instrumental album back then. So part of my process is also very optimized to write instrumental music, because I can do all of these events and I can do all of the parts of the songs while just sitting in my bedroom, as all of these songs were written just me sitting around in my little home studio booth and connecting my guitar to a laptop and just making these arrangements come to life. So that's probably why I've just sort of stuck to this instrumental genre. I'm keen on exploring all kinds of music, really. So I don't know what the future direction of like my music will be, but for now it is instrumental. And again, I really appreciate all of you guys coming here and watching or hearing me play all of these. And of course, again, I would like to point out that I wrote all of these songs in my bedroom, but taking them live is a whole new ballgame. And you really do require a lot of help and just musicians of a certain caliber to get get this music out live. So I would again like to point out that Rohit and Kunal have been incredibly helpful in helping me get my vision there.
Cool. That was a great insight, and I believe I think you started to take this up. I mean, a little more seriously after after you settled in the U.S. So you went to the U.S. initially for your masters, and then I guess during your masters, obviously you were busy with your masters, so you really didn't get. You had a limited time to play guitar, but you did a bit of noodling around on the guitar and exploring what you could do, how you could expand your horizons, so to say, in terms of practicing. But it was just about exploring possibilities and not really executing them.
True. I think when I went to grad school, this was in 2017. I finished up undergrad in 2016. Took a year off to really just explore what music has to offer, and in that time, we were kind enough to be joined by Kunal, and we did a couple of cities in and around India. But after that, I was sort of just pushed into, not pushed, I would say, I picked it. I went for grad school for biomedical engineering, and it just doesn't really leave a lot of scope for just sitting down and making all of these demos like come to life, because it's just such a huge time commitment. So during that time, all my focus was to just like buy a guitar and just keep noodling and see where my technique can get me. But a lot of these compositions came to life when I actually finished up my thesis, finished up my grad school, got my first job, and was really able to commit certain, certain particular amounts of time to sit down and compose these parts as they would go into a song, and not just like randomly noodle around on the guitar.
Cool. That's a great insight. So, yeah, I think we'll play a song right now. Okay. Yeah, so what's the next one called?
Alright, so the next song is called Fractals, and I'm sorry we'll be like standing up to play the song just because like the music is pretty demanding. So we'll be standing up and then sitting down, but we will take questions from the audience after this song. This song is called Fractals. It was written in 2016 as a part of my previous band called Cat Kamikaze, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Alright, take it away. Yeah, man, great track.
Thank you. We can open it up to the audience if you guys have any questions. Also, please feel free to ask questions to Rohit and Kunal. They are professional musicians in this space. They live and operate from Pune. And if you're in the city and they are playing a show, please go attend it and support the live scene. So yeah, now we can just open it up.
Sure. Yeah. So before opening it up, there are some things that some things that maybe you can shed a little bit of light on.
Sure.
So I can see that you have a lot of gear, right? And you have your guitar, and then you have your pedal board, and then there are some samples that are coming through your laptop, and then you have a click in your So I mean, I know all of these things, but could you help? Could you shed some light on how your signal flows right from your guitar? Like you play a note on your guitar, and then how it connects to all the background synth that might be audible in the background, like the samples and all.
Sure.
So yeah. So sure. So
so we have like a block diagram which we're just gonna try and pull up now. But
yeah, I'll zoom into mine.
Okay, so this is like a rough sort of block diagram of like how my signal flow works. I'm very happy that Ranjit asked this question because it's a very common question and everybody's like super curious about it. So I have my laptop here which connects to my audio interface. First of all, my laptop is running something like the backing tracks. So all the songs that I play, there are several guitar parts. Like I am playing maybe one of like the several guitars that you can hear, and that's what sort of contributes to the whole song. Rohit here plays the bass, so the bass does not go through the laptop, and Kunal plays the drums. So for us to play in time and for us to play the same thing, I also have a click track that runs in all of our ears. So that click track is what helps us coordinate and literally just like lock in on all the parts as we are playing through the songs. So now we have my laptop going through my audio interface, and then from my audio interface are the clicks, guitars, backing tracks, and some of the intro tracks that you can hear just before the track is going to play. And then I have my guitar, which goes into my humble Nano Cortex, which is like a guitar effects processor, and that is where that goes out straight to the PA. So the PA is these two speakers that you can hear. That's called a public announcement system. So PA is those two where the sound is really being thrown towards you. And then the drum kits is mic'd through all the mics that you can see around the drum kit, including the overheads. And just the way I connect my guitar to my little pedal board here, Rohit also has his pedal board, and that goes straight to the PA. So that's like an overall sort of flow of how all of this works. You guys, of course, do not hear the click track, which is great. I think it's best that you don't hear it because it can be a little scary at times. But yeah, that's pretty much that's like my signal chain. So if you guys have any more questions that I would love to elaborate on, or if you can also ask questions particularly to any of these two, you're more than welcome. So if you can just raise your hand, and then somebody will get you a mic. If you have questions.
Yeah, I mean, also in the interest of time, there was some schedule conflict. So, I mean, in every round of questions, we'll take maybe 2 or 3 questions, and then maybe you can always catch Amir later on as well. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, you just get the mic. Yeah, just please get the mic because we're also shooting a documentary, so it's best that you shoot your questions through the mic so we can have it on audio.
Thank you. My one simple and a very silly question. You're talking about song and you're talking about music. Is it possible to show the lyric so that we can relate to the music and the song that you're talking about?
But I play instrumental songs.
Okay, so
there are no
when you
lyrics.
say that there is a name called so and so for the song, how do you relate and how that works? That's what my question is.
Okay, great question. So the way I decide the name of the song is really arbitrary, but probably my answer is going to disappoint you, so I apologize for that. But the names of the songs are very arbitrary. The song that we just played was called Fractals, only because there's a lot of repeating parts in it. And fractal is something that you could just keep zooming in, and it's like a geometric structure, and it just keeps repeating itself over and over. So that was the reason why the song was called Fractals. If I'm to talk about the album that I have written and the song names there, I was really inspired by some ice cream flavors. So those sort of just like coincide, and they just get into the names of the songs. But don't get me wrong, the songs definitely are like a timestamp for what I was feeling in that moment. I keep them instrumental in hopes that when you listen to the song, you can attach some of your own meaning and then relate to it, and then that song can then remind you of that feeling when you heard it. So I don't like to push that idea onto people as like, what I was feeling must be something that you must feel while sort of hearing this song, but that's a very, very personal opinion while creating all of these songs. So I would be more than happy to like expand on what I felt while writing these songs. Yeah, some of them are like, you know, some of my deepest feelings that just get translated into these songs, and like most of them sound sad.
So it's pretty much abstract, you can say.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's great. That sums it up. Yeah. So is there any more questions?
मी विचारू एक
Sure.
मराठीत पण चालेल.
मराठीतच विचारणार आहे. मला असं विचारायचं आहे की ठीक आहे, तुला त्यावेळेस जे वाटत होतं त्याच्यावर तू लिहिलं, पण अशी रिक्वायरमेंट असेल की एखादा भाव तुझ्या गाण्यातून प्रेझेंट करायचा आहे, तर तसं होऊ शकतं का? की म्हणजे कोणी अप्रोच झालं तुला आणि या इमोशन्सवर तुला गाणं लिहायचं आहे, तर गिटारमध्ये तसं पॉसिबल होऊ शकतं का?
Okay. For those people who don't understand Marathi, I will translate it, but I will also answer in Marathi and English, a mix of both. So the question came from my mother, and the question is that if anybody approaches me with a specific idea of this is what I want to feel, or this is what I want the song to feel like, will I be able to make such a song? The answer to that is yes. असं गाणं बनवणं खूप म्हणजे पॉसिबल तर आहे, definitely. I would definitely then that's what like working with somebody else is. That's creating for somebody else. That's how songwriters and composers work for films, where they are approached by people and they are asked to communicate a certain amount of emotion. Nobody has approached me yet, so hopefully, like as the music gets popular, people do come to me, but I certainly consider myself capable to convey certain emotions as in what is required.
Correct. So
I
think, yeah, sorry.
With my own approach, I prefer not to share that information, only because I don't want like my ideas to be the sole purpose behind why you listen to my songs. If you genuinely enjoy listening to them, then you should just enjoy listening to them.
A quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
To follow up on the question that was asked earlier, if you compose, is playing part of your repertoire? Like you said, you write songs and you compose songs. Do you have to play, or can you just compose and someone else plays?
Great question. I think I am sort of gearing up to that level of proficiency, of sort of just creating a song and then somebody else can play it. But to give you an example, all of these songs were written by me, including the bass parts, including the drum parts, all the arrangements. So the entire arrangement that constitutes a song has been composed by me in my bedroom. But when I go to play all of these songs live, I certainly invite all of these musicians to bring their own stuff. So they're under no obligation to play the song as it has been recorded. But I really want them to show up and sort of get their own sort of flavor into this. And I'm very comfortable with that. I think that's the point of playing live. That's the whole goal of like taking these tracks live. The only reason that I went and composed all the whole arrangement comes down to budgeting constraints, because hiring live musicians is extremely expensive. Hiring studio time is extremely unaffordable. And I do this part-time. So it works for me to create all of these arrangements by myself and then send it out, and of course like bring them in a live setting.
Hi Amay.
Hello.
So I have one question.
Sure.
So can you throw some light on your creative process, like how you write the songs? Now everybody is asking you these questions.
Yeah.
So focusing on that, so maybe can you just throw some light on the creative process that you have, that can maybe help
Sure.
us out here?
Yeah. I mean, you can say.
Okay. So I'll touch up on it a little bit, but we are going to take that question in great depth later on. But
I mean, you can always answer it. I mean,
I will answer it now. So creative process is very, it's very ambiguous, and I think it's very personal to me in terms of I am playing guitar every day, so there's something new happening every day. The songs that you guys are hearing now are just a collection of ideas that I had back then. So the way I create songs is I'm playing guitar, so I'm playing different chords, I'm playing some lead lines, I'm playing with a backing track or just a particular scale that really inspires me. So I stick to that, and then I've noticed that you must sort of put yourself in certain boundaries, because otherwise the possibilities are quite endless. So you sort of just get very easily overwhelmed by what we can and what we cannot do. So when I started off with writing all of these songs, for example, I knew what the limits of my capabilities on the guitar were. So that's like my peak. So I'm always like just composing just below my reach so that I can play these songs live comfortably, because I don't want to write something that I can hear but I cannot translate on my guitar. So I think I'm just trying to stay very true to my proficiency on the instrument. And in terms of that, then anything inspires me. Like if I watch a movie and I really enjoy like one scene and it makes me feel a certain way, then I can come back and I think about it, and then I can put some chords on it, and then through those chords I write the drum parts, the bass parts, and sort of try to listen to it as a complete arrangement. And then there are songwriting principles, like there has to be a verse, there has to be a chorus, there has to be a big ending, there has to be a bridge that sort of pulls away the listener to a certain extent, and then comes back, and then that's when you have that aha moment. So I would say creativity is very equally mixed with like certain songwriting principles that have been used for ages, and then whatever I can like sort of come up with on the go, and then they get recorded, and then I play those arrangements live. So I hope that answers your question a little bit.
cool. Yeah, so I think
one
that
question.
yeah, sure, sir. So we'll have enough time for questions, and Amey is always there. So, but right now, in the interest of time, I think our main goal is basically to cover all the performances before that. So right now, I think we can have a song right now, and then after that, we can maybe take your question first. I think you had raised your hand a little bit before that, so we can take your question before that, and then after that, we'll have enough time. So no worries about that. And Amey is there after the show for a long time. So yeah, so you want to play a song next?
Sure, yeah.
All right, cool. What's the next song?
So the next song is called Mango Hibiscus. This was the first song that I wrote as a solo artist, and this also happens to be a song due to which I ended up meeting my wife. So it's a very special song, but it also gets over in like 3 minutes, so I hope you guys enjoy.
All right, take it away.
Thank you.
Alright. So, would you like to immediately do one more song, or like because this like these two songs are like interconnected with each other, I believe, and then we can have the Q and A after that.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright.
So just a little change in plans, but we will take your questions. But I really want to play this song because this is my latest release out there, and it sounds really, really cool with having these two on there. So the next song is called Caramel Sunset. I hope you guys enjoy.
Take it away. are amazing tracks, and you've been composing them by yourself and all, right? But I mean, in a lot of these tracks, like in this track, for example, we hear a saxophone sample and all, right? So there are obviously a lot of collaborators who have worked with you and who have given guest solos on this album, and even people who have mixed your album and worked with you on these. So could you tell us a bit about the collaborators?
Sure, absolutely. So it's very tough to like do everything on your own, which is why I've always sort of had some of the other collaborators, like Rohit and Kunal. Of course, they are my collaborators now because they helped me take this band live. While writing this EP, so the saxophone that you just heard was played by a local artist named Shreyas Iyengar. He is a drummer and also a beautiful and brilliant saxophone player. And another collaborator who has collaborated with me on the EP for the artwork is in this building, actually, Omisha. I don't know where I can see you, but you're here. So Omisha is an incredibly amazing artist, and she has sort of been working with our band forever, really, So since the start when we were a part of Cat Kamikaze, the cover for the CDs and all the artwork that you see that has been put out on socials is courtesy of Omisha, and the artwork for my debut EP has also been designed by Omisha. So I would like to give her a round of applause, please. So I think like just working with collaborators helps you ease off on a little bit of the creative sort of creative headspace and creative pressure that I put on myself. So it's always good to have sort of just. It also helps me get out of my comfort zone and really explain the concept that it is in my head to somebody else so that they can sort of get their own artistic vision into this. So that's a little bit about the collaborators on this album.
Great. Thank you for shedding light on that. Yeah. So I think we can take some audience questions now. So yeah, we can start with you.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so you had mentioned that you wrote the bass and the drum parts. So I was just curious as to know, did you learn bass and drums as well? Or did you just like figure it out?
Okay, great question. So when I was in engineering, I actually have taken drum lessons from Mr. Sanjeev Pankar. I don't know if he's here in the building. Hello, Sanjeev sir. Yeah, please give it up for him. He is the reason why I do all of this. He's been really the creative force and the person who's pushing me in like the greatest direction ever. So we all were students of Sanjeev sir, including Kunal. He's been learning drums from him. I went to learn drums from him. Omisha has learned bass from him. So I actually have taken drum lessons, so that helped me program drum parts. The program bass that I have used in my songs is very rudimentary, which is where someone like Rohit comes in. When I go to take these parts live, I almost insist him to like rework the parts and bring in a bassist perspective. Why I write bass is only because like I can complete that demo, make it into a complete song and just release it. I never, like those songs were always written with the intention of playing them live. And I knew that I would not play live with just me and like my laptop. I would always have live musicians there. So the purpose of programming was only to just get these songs like in a complete form and then release it, and then sort of rework them whenever the opportunity to play live was going to pop up. And the opportunity to play live only started coming last year, and these songs were written like in 2020, 2021. So that was the intention behind writing those songs. But I have not learned bass. I know guitar, but like I don't know bass. I have taken drum lessons.
Also, I'm a songwriter. I find writing the lyrics very easy, but not composing the tune easy. So could you like tell me how you go about composing the tune part?
Sure. So composition for like the tune is just like an after effect of me like really spending a lot of time just noodling on the guitar. So a lot of the time things just happen, and I would also like to weigh in Rohit's perspective, because he is also a guitarist and a songwriter, and he has his own project. So I'll give you a few ideas, and then I'll pass it off to him for like a little bit. So I think a lot of songwriting, and I'm not sure what genre you make it in, but in general, songwriting is very form-based. Like there's like verse, chorus, verse sections, and then there are just principles that you can really follow for like verse, chorus sections. So for the verse, I'm like, if you just take the example of Caramel Sunset, it's like 3 chords for like the entire song, and I can confidently say that that was the limit of my creativity. But the song goes on for like almost 6-ish minutes. So all I've done is I play one progression in a certain way, like I play C sharp minor, and I go to A major and go to B major, and then for the next part I just like reverse it. So sometimes it helps to like just work with as little as possible. Like if you do have certain chords that you like, or you just gravitate towards naturally when you're playing the instrument, then work with those and try different combinations of those. And I'll just pass it off to Rohit. If he has some brilliant ideas, then you should take his word for it.
I'll just give you a very unhelpful answer. You just gotta keep playing. Because when you keep playing, things come to your head, and then just subconsciously you're like, oh, this is it. If you sit and you wanna write something consciously, it may not happen. And you'll hear this from a lot of people that you probably look up to as well. So yeah, that's one thing. So you just gotta keep, spending time with any craft that you do in life, anywhere. Right? So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any more?
Yeah. Anyone else wants to ask a question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
First of all, Kunal, fantastic drumming, I must say. Really good. I think the rhythms that you play are